oh my gosh, soapbox moment. Guile players have adopted this victimhood. I've never had worse than a 5-5 matchup in all of my career in Street Fighter. I've had some of the most broken matchups in all of my time. I'm talking about Guile versus Zangief and back in SF4, Guile versus M. Bison. And how many people have you frustrated Guile players over the years and just laughed and said, yeah, that's funny. You probably shouldn't also have offense and amazing defense. And now you have a matchup that might be 6-4 in JP. And dude, people will not give me the run back online. You see it every time there's a chance a Guile player will come in and say, yeah, JP is so broken. I can't play in a 6-4 matchup. I'm a Guile player. I deserve so much better than this. Grow up, man. There's so many options. Like, yeah, maybe it's an uphill battle. Heaven forbid you end up with an uphill battle, you privileged 7th overall jerks. What do you think about Guile?
So Guile players, I got your back here. You guys can leave your positive comments about me below. I have played both Guile and JP at a very high level, extremely high level. I got both of them to a very high level before I switched over to Aki here. Guile is very good all around, but he has a very large fault baked into his high level gameplay that is extremely difficult for him to overcome. And having literally one of the worst matchups in the game, it's near criminal for JP players.
How would you know? They never play it. They just run away from it all the time.
Well, I've played this match on both ends, as I said, and there's no way this match is not heavily in JP's favor. You say 6-4, I say bullcrap. This is at least 7-3, if not 8-2. Guile also loses to Cammy, Marissa, Rashid, and Chun-Li. At least this was the case with Higuchi. The JP match, though, is a really hard one. And Higuchi is like the like 7th rated Guile player online or something like that. Very high end, like just often considered one of the best up there, like with Knuckle Dew and a few others. But the JP match is a really hard one, though, so bad that you see Guile players instantly switching off of it. And to play a character like Guile and to go, okay, I'm in tournament, let's go. There is a 0% chance that you're not going to see a JP player at some point during your tournament run.
Yeah, and that's why you have to face your demons.
That's why I have Guile this low. In my opinion, it is very hard to get solo tournament wins with Guile because of JP, because you basically need to have an alt character. While the other top end characters don't require an alt character, I think Guile does. And just to illustrate this a little bit more, Higuchi, I just saw him practicing with JP to learn the matchup better. And I can tell you that does not happen in reverse. So you don't see JP players going, let me go hit the Guile matchup and lad that like a ton. Let me go play Guile a ton. I've done that, by the way, because they're like, no, that matchup's free. I don't even need to do much of anything. And the big reason why that matchup is free, I should say, is because 3/4 of the screen out or further out, JP's spikes dominate Guile's sonic booms, which means that you take away Guile's biggest weapon and you make it a non-factor from certain spots on the screen. Guile does not have a lot of moves.
Parry a couple and move forward, and then you have
I know how to play the match, but fundamentally that is messed up. You're taking the character's biggest strength, throwing booms, and you're saying you don't get to do that for 50 or 60% of the match, and then Guile's got to rely on his drive rush and rushing down to beat JP. And he can do booms up close for meaty pressure and other things like that, but Guile fundamentally is so messed up in this matchup that you hardly ever see Guile players play it because it is so hard for Guile to overcome. And it's calling it a 6-4 matchup is a travesty, is a freaking travesty.
What do you say to Zangief players that have been just dealing with Guile? That's fundamentally terrible for Zangief and has been for 35 years. Do they have an alternate? Maybe, and maybe that's justified. But most of the time they say, no, this match is a little bit harder than a lot of the other matches, but such is life because I have a lot of hard matches and I know how to endure them instead of just picking somebody else all the time or complaining about it. It's like, yeah, what does Zangief
is not
have?
One of the best characters in the game. JP is.
That's not the point, though.
No, it is a point because Guile players they're going to have to go up against JP. They are going to face JP.
Right. Zangief players are going to have to go up against their terrible matchups.
Well, Zangief players, Zangief has the most lopsided matchups traditionally in Street Fighter history. He has the most amount of 7-3s and 3-7s back and forth. And so you have your really good matchups and you have your really bad matchups with Keith because of his style of play.
I'm just saying that Guile players are whining about having a harder than usual matchup. And that's not even the focus of our thing here. It's how does Guile perform generally speaking? And this is a very valid part of it because JP is a very prevalent character and Guile has a hard time with it. I just think the reaction here is completely overstated, and it comes
you
from a
need to
place
go
of
play
privilege.
Guile like I did, and go play against JP and see how you feel about that matchup, because I've done it at a very high level. My Guile nearly beat Snake Eyes, which shout outs to bad matchups, but I nearly got him with it, and my JP nearly beat Snake Eyes as well. I have got very competent, very high end stuff. I can tell you from vast amounts of first person experience that matchup is terrible, and you are coming from a very heavy amount of privilege when you're talking about that being 6-4, which I think is complete hogwash. Like that is one of the worst matchups in the game.
That's what the people say online, and that's what your experiences, which are anecdotal, say. So there's something to be said for that. But at the end of the day, we're going to figure it out that actually, as with everything else in this game, almost everything that presents itself as a ridiculous, unscalable obstacle, there is something that has been inserted by the devs to be an answer to that, and it might not be in your favor, but there are answers. Guile can get within JP's weakness zones and then be a very big threat with jump or drive rush and sonic booms from there. Yes, he can't just throw sonic booms freely, which is what I think this all comes down to, is Guile suddenly can't throw sonic booms freely and the world is ending.
How many special moves does Guile have?
What, sonic boom, flash kick, is that
And
it?
then the sonic blade. Yeah, and so you're taking away 2 out of 3 of his special moves and saying good luck with that.
Yeah,
that
well,
makes
I
that
mean,
matchup
every character
so
takes
hard.
away JP's, technically, like, the JP's moves become risky. It's not like if Guile throws a full screen sonic boom, the JP is going to react to him every time and beat him. It's that that move is dangerous to use from full screen against this character. Once you're about round 1 fight distance, everything that JP does in terms of a projectile is a risk to him. That doesn't mean that he can't use them there, but it means that he's got to be selective with it. Heaven forbid, Guile has to be selective with his sonic booms from full screen. Get out of here.
I'm really looking forward to the comment section on this.
Yeah, I know it's coming, and that's fine. That's fine. Everybody has these emotional reactions to things.
We
but that's
definitely don't agree about the JP Guile stuff, so that's all right. Let's move on.
But we do think that Guile is 7th overall. We do agree on that. Yes. Okay. All right. So 8th overall. Have you mentioned your 8th?
I have not.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out that clip from our bigger episode of Talk and Block, where we discussed the top 10 characters in Street Fighter 6 right now. Guile players, look, I just want you to believe in yourselves. I think you can overcome your demons. That's all I'm trying to say. That full episode will be ready just a few days after this goes live, and it'll be right here when it's up. But if you need to tide yourself over with some more Talk and Block action before then, you can always check out this here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.